All right, so this is part 2 of the online business products review series. This video is about hosting, URLs, and business emails and phone numbers. All right, so let's get into it. So now that you've got your licensing and your trademarks and your permitting for whatever industry you're in, now you're going to need to create that online presence, build it out amongst different services so you can grow. Now, you may have already started with the Facebooks or Instagram or Twitter or whatever service you use to build your brand. You may already even have a website for yourself, but you might not be sure on where to go next. So what we're going to do is we're going to pretend you don't have any of that right now and you're just building it from the bottom up. And that's going to require web hosting and a URL or domain name. Now, one of the best ways to get a domain name is through namecheap.com. So you'll just simply, it's really easy. You'll go here, you'll type in whatever domain you want to look for. Hopefully it's available for your business. If you don't know how to check it, it will check it for you. And you can also use the USPTO website that we talked about in the last video. Let me see if I could pull it up here for you right now. Where is it? So yeah, you can use this website here and actually look for other businesses that may have your same business name and things in their in the system, so you don't end up taking someone else's name and ending up not being able to use it, or they get more traffic than you and you do all this work for nothing. So it's really detailed. If you want to know more about that, once again, you can always hit me up. All my information is here on the screen below. All right, so besides that, you're going to need that hosting. Now, Namecheap also provides hosting. But sometimes you want something a little simpler, okay? Because with Namecheap doing the hosting, you have to learn their specific version of web hosting and setting things up, and it might have a bit of a learning curve for someone who's not tech savvy. So I'm going to introduce a couple other services that you can also use for those of you who aren't the most tech savvy people. Now, the great thing about Namecheap, you can buy your domain name for a very low price right through here, and you can still use it for other services. So you're not locked down to only being able to use their services with your domain name. Okay, some services I've seen in the past lock those down. If you've ever used something like ClickFunnels, you'll create a domain name, but then they'll own the domain name. So if you try to transfer it somewhere else, you're going to have to pay usually about $20 or more basically to transfer that domain name to another service. And no one wants to do that, right? All right, so now that we know that we've got our domain name, maybe we want to set up our first website. And let's say you're a music artist, right? And you don't have very much money, but you've got some content you want to sell, maybe a few products. What I would recommend first is actually going over to this website here, or go to the App Store. It's called Universe. The website is on universe.com, but you can actually literally make a website from your cell phone. Now, if you want to see a video on that from me, let me know, but they've got plenty of content out there. And it's really simple to use. Now, I made one of my first training websites with this service, and it's great, especially for mobile. Now, it's not built the best for like web browsers. So if you feel a lot of your customers use web browsers and things like that to consume your content, this might not be the best way to go. But if most of your consumers, or if you're mostly just marketing a whole lot, this would be a great website to use to throw up flyers, post new content, and get those. At the end of the day, the goal is to get those fans onto your site. Things like Instagram is all controlled by Facebook, or Facebook and their algorithms. You want your fans coming directly to you. This is why you see some of your favorite creators creating things like Patreon, which still is going to be owned by them ultimately. So if something happens to that site, they go down, they go out of business, you're going to have to take that content and move it somewhere else. Now that you own your own hosting and platforms, now you're going to be able to control how to get that out to others, no matter what happens on the web. Okay, so check this out right here on Universe. Great way to do this from your phone. You know, maybe you do shoe customizations or something. It doesn't matter. The sky's the limit. You can set it up with Apple Pay to take payments and get payments directly to your phone. You know, that gives you the opportunity to create the ringtone you like. You can have that cha-ching every time you get paid, however you want to set it up. So as you can see here, it's great for businesses, musicians, bloggers, storefronts, portfolios, maybe you're a photographer, and even events. So if you're out there throwing events, whatever you want to do, you can set it up. Now, let's say now this is something a lot of people don't know. Let's say you sell actual digital content like videos, right? Now, you can't necessarily put that in a store, right? But what you can do is put it behind a paywall. And there's a couple different ways to make that happen. You can use services like Gumroad to put it behind a paywall. So all you need is a link to that page. And I'll pull that up right now. And this is a great way to sell your digital content. Maybe you have albums, videos, movies, workout videos, whatever it may be. You can put it behind a paywall. The whole thing is to get people to not just expect everything to be free, but also not to really be expensive, to give them in a way to consume the product, right? Now we can go deeper into this, but this is just like the beginning points. These are the ways for a little bit of money you can get yourself into it. Now, another one I recommend if you're just starting out is going to be Ecwid. Now, this is not an official like website. This is if you have like just a store. So let's do it like this. Let's say use your Instagram and you get a lot of customers through Instagram, but you want them to start making purchases. Now, Instagram has a feature where they can buy it straight through Instagram, but you're going to have to set up an account and pay a monthly fee to be able to do that service. Now, with this right here, you'll be able to set it up with up to 10 products for free before you have to pay any monthly service. So if you're not actively making a lot of income, once again, it gets to become expensive to run a business, considering the fact that one, you have to collect the taxes for your state in the IRS, and then you're also expected to pay for all those quarterly things that you do with other businesses, right? So here with Ecwid, you can set up a store and a nice storefront at that. It works for desktops. It works for websites. It's not going to be the best place to sell videos. However, you could do it if you wanted to. There's hacks or ways around it. And yeah, this is just a great site, a great checkout page, get people in and out with purchases, and you can still connect it to other services as well if you like and you want to grow with this service in particular. So I would definitely recommend this if you're starting up with your first business right from your phone. This is a great way to get into it with very little need or monetary cost. Okay, so let's get out of here. Let's get out of there. Now, let's say you want to create a full-on website, make it beautiful. Maybe you have a portfolio of photos and videos that you want to share. My favorite way to do that is actually WordPress. Now, a lot of people use services like Wix and Squarespace. These are all similar to the previous service I showed you, like on Universe. And they have great features, and I will always recommend those if you're just starting out. But once again, there's going to now be a monthly fee that you use with services like WordPress or Wix or Squarespace and things like that. So you want to make sure your business is actually earning the income to maintain the actual site. Okay, so what I use after trying Wix and Squarespace in the past is now WordPress. And here's the reason why. With Wix and Squarespace, at the time when I was using them, they didn't allow me to use a lot of other services along with them. And what I mean by that, which we'll go in deeper later, is plugins. It's very hard to build a website with only code if you're not used to, once again, you're not tech savvy. So you might not know JavaScript or HTML or, you know, all the different coding languages that makes a website really pop, right? You know, and maybe you don't have the hours it takes to really sit down, get a book or watch some videos or tutorials on how to actually set that up. Super time consuming, and a great way to alleviate that is to use WordPress. And once again, here's why. With WordPress, they have plugins that you can use to attach to your website with just the click of a button. It's like installing software on your computer. And then from there, you set it up and customize it how you like. Now, I won't get into that here on this video, but what I want you to understand is you want to also think ahead with your business and how it can grow online. And sometimes these online services kind of bottleneck you to the point where you end up paying for other services and they don't always work well with each other. WordPress has been kind of the leader in blogging for the last, 15 years or plus. And they are usually one of the first services that people go to with their businesses because it is integrated so deeply with so many small programmers and big programmers as well. So you've got everyone from Shopify with plugins for WordPress all the way down to your small programmers out there with custom plugins that they create and you can pay them for it. And a great way to get those plugins is through a website like this, ThemeForest. ThemeForest will give you themes for your website. So if you don't want your website looking like anyone else's, you don't want the free themes that they give you with the service, you can go here, and they are a part of a bigger service called Code Canyon. And I mention this because you can use this with, once again, let's say you already have a website with Wix, you can use it with Wix. Maybe you already have a website with Bluehost or some other services, you can use it as well. But you get all of these services right here through ThemeForest and Code Canyon. I'm sorry, I don't know why it won't let me just see Code Canyon right now. Let's see if I could go right here. There we go, Code Canyon. And as you can see right here, they have tons of plugins that you can use to do everything from shirt designers to delivery services to JPEGs to, URL security, FPTs, anything you could think of, they name it. Podcast hosting. There's so much you can get into with this service, and I definitely recommend it out there for those of you starting a small brand or business right now. All right. Now that's gonna do it for part 2 of my online business products reviews. Stay tuned for the next video where we'll go over web designs, plugins, and shipping and downloads. We went through some of those, but we're gonna go through those more in detail in the next video in this series. All right, and until next time, love life.